Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. You may recall that quite some time ago in Warzone 2, the devs did sort of a secret update, and since then they have yet to mention anything about it. Back when Warzone 2 first launched, we of course had the new and improved minimap feature for gameplay, in which when you shoot an unsuppressed weapon, you do not show up on the minimap as a red dot. When you shoot a suppressed weapon, you do not show up on the map. However, if you were to shoot an unsuppressed weapon, you'd actually show up on the compass at the top of your screen. But then, a couple updates ago, for no reason, the devs removed the red dots entirely. Not on the minimap, not on the compass whatsoever, unless there's a UAV up. And if we were to look right now in Warzone 2 gameplay, the only time you're ever going to see dots up here or here now is when you have a UAV. Now, of course, this is the pregame, and when you're going around here in the pregame, you have this UAV that's constantly pinging so you can get your warm-up kills. And you'll notice that every time the UAV pings, these red dots at the top of the screen do line up on the crosshair. That's standard. If there's a UAV, the dots will still show up. You will notice now that as I am playing on Resurgence, things are a bit different. I got quick scoped and absolutely destroyed right there. And you'll notice that when that guy shot his sniper, a red dot appeared on the compass. If I were to skim past into the next life here, when I come down and land again, as my teammates are fighting here, you notice there is red dots appearing on the compass. So it seems like what the devs have done with no communication whatsoever on this update is that with season 2, they have reintroduced red dots showing on the compass when you shoot an unsuppressed weapon. Obviously, it's early game. Everyone's using the ground loot, which for the most part is not suppressed, or these pistols, which obviously are not suppressed. And when you're going on gunfights, you'll notice that red dots are everywhere, right? We have that back now. They didn't say that that was a feature coming back in any of the patch notes. They didn't say anything about it whatsoever, but it's here specifically on Resurgence. And I've already seen some of you guys commenting about this in the videos or over on Twitter saying, Zach, if you look at the compass now, you see the red dots. Lately, you've been promoting all these loadouts that feature, the Sack and Shred 40 muzzle or the KT85 lock shot muzzle, or no suppressors in general, basically, because as we've talked about numerous times in the past, they're just really not all that worth it because all they're really doing is silencing your gun a little bit. Yes, they have some stats that'll give you better velocity or better control or better range, but that stuff you can actually optimize. And as we've talked about in several videos, and we'll continue to do so over time, you can optimize your setup by changing out a muzzle for an underbarrel and high velocity ammo, or a certain barrel will do more than any given muzzle will do. There's many different ways to optimize things here and there. So it's an interesting conversation of, are suppressors worth it? I feel like for the most part here in Warzone 2, the case is more often than not so much. You can be more efficient with muzzles. You can be more efficient with underbarrels and other things, helping out your long range setups or even your close range setups in certain situations. But with red dots now appearing back on the minimap, does this change anything? By the way, the X12 is still so broken. Does this change anything though when it comes to gameplay here on Resurgence? And this is actually a perfect freeze frame here as to why it will affect your gameplay some. Like, yes, if you continue to use loadouts that don't have suppressors on them, you will show up on that compass. I will say, one, I don't think many players utilize the compass to its full extent. I think that especially casual players who maybe aren't, even looking at the minimap that often are going to look at their compass even less. So that's not a huge deal, but Resurgence specifically is so full of these UAVs, right? Every single time you clean up that enemy, anytime you get that full knock, you're going to get these teammate pings showing me that there's an enemy here, there's an enemy over by my teammate, and there's a bunch of enemies over here. And as we discussed back during the pregame of Al Mazrah, every time there's a UAV that goes off, every time your minimap pings, you also get those pings on the compass. So you can see these dots that are up in the top left here are showing on my compass around that northwest spot. And while that ping is quick, you guys can see it's already gone here. I still have the dots showing up from these enemies shooting unsuppressed guns in front of me here. Every time you get that cleanup kill, which, let's be honest, on Resurgence is often, especially with how it plays here on Ashika Island, it's pretty much non-stop action from match start to match finish. All those pings are going to show you on that minimap and on that compass regardless. So even if you are using a suppressor and you're not showing up as a red dot here, if someone cleans up one of your teammates and gets that ping on you, you're still going to show up there. You're still going to show up there regardless. So this is going to change how certain players may want to approach. Just outright, some players, because again, red dots all over the place on the compass. Certain players are not going to want to have any kind of that information being told about them. They're not going to want to show up on the compass. They're not going to want to show up on the minimap as often as possible. Hence why players do still run Ghost, despite the fact that Ghost, when you shoot a gun, will show you on the minimap on a UAV specifically, right? Which I believe is also active here in Resurgence. Some players just won't want that. They like that stealth factor. And for that reason, yes, certain suppressors are worth using. I think we've gone over them several times already. Things like the Talon, the Harbinger, the Echoless 80, they have solid pros in the form of better velocity, better control, minimal, ADS or recoil penalties there that make them worthwhile. Are they the number one option every single time? Not necessarily, but players might want to flock towards those now specifically for Resurgence gameplay. At the same time, though, I don't think this is, completely meta breaking in the fact that forces you to always have to use suppressors here on Resurgence, but it's something to keep in mind regardless. Again, shout out the X12, also the servers that are mad laggy, but you guys can see that guy bleeds, I get the cleanup kill, everyone on the UAV, everyone on the compass. Doesn't matter if you're suppressed, doesn't matter if you're unsuppressed. This is gonna happen every time you get that cleanup kill, every time someone gets a cleanup kill on one of your teammates. So because the constant UAV spam, I don't feel like this changes things, but it is very interesting, in my opinion, at the end of the day, that they have added back this feature specifically for Resurgence. I'm not sure if that's to test the waters and see maybe how many players notice, or if the player retention is higher because of this or what, but it's a change that was made that was not mentioned that does have some kind of impact on your overall setups here, regardless, if you want to be stealthy, if you want to minimize your appearance on an enemy screen potentially. So definitely keep that in mind as you are building your loadouts in the future. Of course, we've got plenty of recommendations here on the channel for all the main meta weapons, but that being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it, and if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.